Now, I know you saw Candace get fired up, and it made me think of a couple things. These are things that no one else has really talked about yet, so let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. So by now, you guys have seen this, and it's on X, and you can watch it. It's like 3.5 million impressions or something right now, and I'm sure that's going to keep going up. This is Aubrey Leitch. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce her name, but there's a piece of this that really caught my attention that we need to talk about.
My name is Aubrey Leitch, and I am the former public relations manager for Turning Point USA.
Public relations manager, Turning Point USA. Remember that.
And I was a part of the recent kind of mass termination group at Turning Point, and was let go about 3 weeks ago. And at the time of my release, I was working for the ATK company, which is spokesman Andrew Colvet's private business that contracts out with the Turning Point kind of ecosystem.
So she worked privately directly for Andrew Colvet.
So encompassing of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. I was working directly for him. Prior to that, I did work for Turning Point USA. So I've been with the organization since 2021. So my boss, Andrew Colvet, and I had a very close working relationship. I talked with him on a weekly, if not daily basis. My tasks were assigned by him to me. Working directly for him was a challenge and very intimidating because, he was Charlie's right-hand guy, always in Charlie's ear, constantly.
So here's what I want to bring up. Let's address the elephant in the room. She worked for Andrew Colvet. Andrew Colvet has been allegedly caught lying about Charlie Kirk. He said he had a neck of steel and, the bullet went in and curved down and went down his body and all this kind of stuff. Just the crazy stuff that we've been hearing this whole time. And a lot of the lies and things we've been hearing, the things that were fed, alleged lies, right? And the things that were fed to Gary at Paramount Tactical, the text real time during the streams, right? Saying, oh, this is Erica's alibi. Make sure you don't show this, buddy, right? So he's been feeding all of this stuff to all these people. And this woman right here is Andrew's right-hand man person, right? She's a PR manager. So she either knows about everything that's going on and knows about the lies and things that have been allegedly reported, or she helped write them or helped formulate them. Would that be a fair assumption? I'm not saying that she's a bad person or evil or anything like that, but if she's right there with him, works directly for him, messaged him daily or, especially weekly, she was with his company. She left TPUSA directly to go work for his contracting company that pays back, he gets paid through TPUSA that way. So she is like in there with him. So that raises a lot of questions for me. I actually reached out to her to see if she wanted to do an interview because I'm very curious. Like, did you know about all this stuff going on behind the scenes? Have you seen any funny business? I'm sure an NDA or something might prevent her from talking about this stuff, but obviously that's a major concern. And then as many of you know, Cassia and I from Daily Freddo, we had a live stream that got cut short, had some technical issues, not sure exactly what happened. It's never happened before, but the stream just cut off before we can get to QA. But the theme was, what did Charlie know, right? Like the whole idea of, was he being honest? Did he know what was happening behind the scenes, or was he completely oblivious to it? Was he really just out in the field and someone else was handling the company and he had no idea what was going on? Was he Doge audit to find out what was happening that was wrong? Or was it to try to cover him for what might be allegedly happening within that company with fraud and things like that? And now with this new information from Candace, that raises even more questions heading that direction.
That wasn't true. None of that was true. The truth, and I think that you very well know what the truth is, because you were around for it, is that Charlie and I had a disagreement, which fractured my trust in him. He did something that he had never done before. He lied to my face about money. Now, in retrospect, I believe that the manner in which I discovered the lie might have been by design, but there's no need for us to delve into conspiracy when the facts are plenty enough. Charlie had taken a meeting down in Florida with Ike Perlmutter at Mar-a-Lago. It was a fundraising meeting. For whatever reason, he did not want me to know about this meeting, and that was strange. It was meant to be kept a secret. Strange because we had always collaborated on and taken those sorts of meetings together. Anyway, I found out about it, and I decided to ask him casually as we were riding up an elevator at the Trump Hotel in D.C. I said to him, have you heard from Ike recently? And he looked me right in the face just as he was getting off on his floor. And he said, no, I haven't. I haven't heard from him in like 2 weeks. And I then said back to him, really, Charlie, because you had lunch with him yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. And I saw his stomach drop. His entire face looked, as if he was going down a roller coaster.
So, of course, you have to ask the question now, if he's lying to her, who's supposed to be his best friend, they came up together, they worked in the company together, they helped build it together, they went on tour together, they went fishing together, who knows what, right? Now all this stuff happened and he lied directly to her about money, okay? So he's lying to her about money in this meeting. She found out, she called him out on it, and he lied even when they were in the elevator. So that would tell me, based on that, just my opinion, these are just allegations and these are just reports and things we're seeing, that is a truth she's saying that he lied. So that goes to the question that I've asked before. Did Charlie know about this stuff? Because if you think about it, if he's lying to her, who else is he lying to? What else is he doing that is nefarious within the company? Financially, politically, whatever it may be. He had the whole situation you saw before where Biden was trying to look at TPUSA and he thought he would go to federal prison. And he was all emotional and everything when President Trump was announced as the winner. He's like, holy crap, and he had relief, right? Because he knew that he was doing something. And I read an article, too, a while back that was talking about TPUSA Faith and TPUSA and how they were tap dancing on the edge of something that might have been, like questionable. And in that article, it specifically said that Charlie told them to push something that was questionable as far as like the 501c3 stuff is concerned, right? Like you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff politically. And he said, just do it. And I'll get the lawyers involved so they can help out if something happens. So I'm looking at this through a different lens now. Is Charlie who everyone thought he was? That's the question. Was it a facade? All this stuff like going around talking to kids and everything. If you look at him from this angle now and go back and watch his talks and stuff with everyone, you start to get a totally different feel for who Charlie Kirk might have been. Now, again, this is just a thought experiment. I'm not accusing him of being an evil person, but seeing all this stuff that's coming out now, you have to consider it very strongly. But wait, there's more. And Barron added this. And if you're not already subscribed over there, make sure you go check him out. Most of you probably are, but he has great takes on basically everything he brings up. And I would say I agree with him on probably 95% of what he says. But in this case, this kind of pushes more what this video is about.
Started making quite a lot of money going from the beginning to where you are now.
Very blessed.
How have you handled your own personal finances?
Very carefully. I mean, I'm a big investor. I have a great team that does it. So, I mean, just to be clear, I didn't take a salary from Turning Point USA the first 5 years. So, and I didn't want it. I mean, all the money went back into the company. And so
So all of that to say, now keep in mind, Turning Point started in 2012. If he didn't take a salary, really it was 2013. If he didn't take a salary for 5 years, that's 2018. Does anybody know what else happened in Charlie's life in 2018?
So before even Barron talks about that, here's something to think about. And you guys may know this already, but who was supporting him during those years? If he had a billionaire backer or a multimillionaire backer in Montgomery and whoever else invested, he wouldn't have to take a salary, right? So the fact that he didn't take a salary doesn't make him an angel. And yes, it is good to put the money back in your company when you first start it because you want to invest in that and grow it. But the elephant in the room again is who was funding him, or clearly he had some means, whether it was like his books or whatever else it was, to take care of himself. So not taking a salary in this case isn't that big of a deal.
He had taken no salary, meaning he had not accumulated all this ridiculous wealth he has. And it is ridiculous. They sold their house for $5.25 million. The wealth is ridiculous. When you're working at a nonprofit, it's ridiculous to live in a $5.2 million. That's right. He met Erica in 2018. So if we put two and two together, he didn't take a salary for 5 years until he met Erica. Then he starts taking a salary. Now listen to what happens to his finances after he meets Erica.
the test of a founder is always like, what do you pay yourself the first couple of years? And unless you have kids at home, or else you have like a family to support, like, mom that's sick, you should not be taking money out of the company. Like it all should be going back in because it's so precious at that point in that period of time. And so I would say that probably over 75 to 80% of all the money I make is invested.
What do you invest in?
I mean, it's very diversified from private equity, which is great. So once you're able to make enough money, you're able to kind of get access to private equity deals, which is great.
He makes enough money to get access to private equity deals. He didn't take a salary for 5 years.
And again, that begs the question, where did he make this money from? We know he had the Charlie Kirk podcast. I don't know if he had it by that point in 2018. We know that I think he did books and that kind of stuff. He had merchandise or whatever else it may be, but that's not enough money from that stuff to be doing the type of investments he has, all the different houses and stuff that he supposedly has. There's a lot of reports that say he has multiple homes. This $5 million property that he just sold. And the other question is, was the money he's investing and doing this stuff with his money? I mean, that's a huge question. Was this investor and billionaire money that he was playing with? I don't know, but it's a good question. Now, you're going to see here in a minute that he's not necessarily the one making the investment decisions. There's someone else doing it for him, someone else close to him, someone else close in the company.
Do you manage your own money or do you have people?
No, I have a great guy that does, but I call a lot of shots. Like I make macro decisions, not micro decisions. That's the way I say. I'm not a good micro investor. Buy this company, that company. The only thing I'll say is like when Elon's company went on Tesla, I want to buy Tesla just as kind of a symbolic philosophical thing because I thought he was being treated so terribly. But like macro stuff I'll get involved in. So for example, if there's like, hey, I want to invest in, more artificial intelligence, or, I think that, oil is undervalued, we'll have a conversation. The guy that does it is a guy named Doug DeGroot. He's
The guy who does all his investing is a guy named Doug DeGroot. Anyone know who that is? As soon as he said it, red flags went off all in my head. Doug DeGroot is on the board of TPUSA. He's one of the few board members, and he was on the board with Charlie. Meaning, Doug DeGroot set Charlie's salary.
Make sure you guys go and watch that entire stream. He had a lot of good little nuggets like that throughout the whole thing. So go back and show the whole video some love. But just really quick to show that proof of that, TPUSA, here's Doug DeGroot. Doug DeGroot is a certified financial planner, CFP, with an MBA in financial planning and is an active member of the Financial Planning Association. Before establishing DeGroot Financial Group, he founded the United Wealth Management Division of United Capital. Prior to that, he was a partner at Crowell, Weeden & Co. He regularly contributes to a variety of financial and general media as needed. So like Barron said, this guy right here, Doug DeGroot, was doing financial advice and investing for Charlie Kirk. They're both on the board. They're both within TPUSA. Now, I don't know if that's a conflict of interest, but it would seem, like Barron said, that this guy could drastically inflate both of their salaries within the company. Whether that's a conflict of interest legally or not, I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but it would seem questionable. So as this information came up, as you can see, everyone's a little bit fired up, including Candace and Barron and everyone else. Like there's this new push to find more lies, or at least look for more truth. And again, these are allegations, right? But you have like Aubrey being the right-hand person, and she was right there with Andrew Colvett for PR. Does she know about everything that he was saying? Does she know the truth? Was she there when, the phone call was taken? Did Andrew and her formulate that steel neck and 30-6 narrative together? Was she part of any of this? And again, I sent a message to her and asked her if she wanted to interview, so we'll see if she responds back. And then you have Charlie Kirk, who was clearly lying to Candace Owens, who's supposed to be a good friend of his and was a co-business partner. That is not a good thing to see. So now because of that, and the other stuff that we're seeing, and the strange stuff going on with investing in partners and board members and that kind of stuff, investing for each other and being financial advisors and all these different things that are happening, and the fact that he lied to Candace, that opens up Charlie to a whole world of criticism. Does that mean that he's lying about several other things? Was he campaigning as a 501(c)(3) for President Trump to get elected so he would not go to jail under the Biden administration? Now, I don't want to think anything negative about Charlie Kirk. I hope this is all just coincidences and maybe he lied to Candace that one time. But if this is a pattern that we're starting to see of him lying and doing things behind people's back, strange phone calls, strange investors, doing possibly tap dancing on illegal things politically, is that who he really was? We know based on reports and allegations, a lot of these people are actors. They've acted certain ways. They've hosted television shows. They've been in movies. Was Charlie just another actor? Clearly, the last few days has gotten people's minds racing, as well as mine. So let me know your thoughts. With this new information that's out, do you think there's a possibility that Charlie Kirk might not be who we thought he was? As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this around. And I'll see you on the next one.